Hello, good evening, students. Is it audible? Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, today's topic is we learn the HTML and how the websites or web application will work on the internet. Okay. So students are joined less only 30 students are joined. So please tell your friends to join the classes, related classes, because it is very important classes. See here. So in today's class, we see the HTML. Okay, so HTML is what hypertext markup language. Okay, so what we seen in the web application. So what we see the front pages. Okay, so those will be based on all HTML only. Okay, so that is a hypertext markup language, HTML. Okay, so next here we see the how website will be works, how the web application will works on the in this internet. Okay, so see, and every web application will follow the client server model. Okay, so that is a client server model. So every web application or any website, so that is based on what client server model. Okay, so here see how the client server model. So the here there is a two model, that is client and server. So client means that is we have the client side pages. Okay, client side pages, or you can say the front end pages. Okay, and one more, that is server model, that is we have the server side pages, or we can say that backend pages. Okay, remember up to finishing this your project, remember the client side pages is also called as the front end pages. Okay, and the server side pages we can call that is backend pages. Okay, remember these things, this is very important. So if you developing any application, any web application, you have to know these. Okay, client model and server model. So the whole web application or any website, it will follow the client server model. Okay, so for and here we have the front end pages and back end pages. Front end pages we also call that is client side pages. Okay, and backend pages we can also call it as a server side pages. Okay, so next year, see, to develop the front end pages, we use the language that is HTML and CSS, JavaScript. Okay, remember this. So to develop any website, any web application, it is need to there, that is the front end page has to be there. Without front end, user cannot interact with the your website or your web application. So it is a need, that is a front end, it is need that is a front-end pages, front-end document. Okay, so that is the to develop a front-end pages, we use the language that is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Remember this. And HTML is what? Hypertext markup language. Okay, so whatever the web pages what we see in the internet, so those all will be developed in the form of HTML only. Okay, so and CSS, what purpose we use CSS and JavaScript? See, CSS is what we are designing the HTML pages. We are giving some attracts, giving some addition. We are adding some extra colors, extra UI designs. We are adding some extra to see the HTML page as an interactive. Okay, so that's why we use what CSS, that is a cascading style sheet. Okay, this also has a one big chapter, that is CSS. Okay, and HTML has also a big chapter. We see the what are the tags will come. Wait a second. Okay. See, HTML is what? Hypertext markup language. So this is the only way to display the web pages. Okay, and in that in HTML only we include the CSS code and JavaScript code. So mainly CSS code we have to more, if you want to see the more attractive for web pages, we add the CSS, means we are giving the colors, we are giving the some extra UI components, so that is we can say that CSS, Java cascading style sheet. Okay, and next we have the JavaScript. So actual what the logic, whatever the, so suppose validation, suppose we have many things will be done in JavaScript. Okay, so that is JavaScript. Again, we have the two types. Okay, that is the Ajax we have and jQuery we have. Okay, we see these all things in the in when we start the JavaScript classes. Okay, so and we have to start the first chapter, that is HTML. Okay, first language, that is HTML. Again, in the HTML we have the many topics, subtopics. Okay, so in that we have to, HTML is a hypertext markup language. It has the collection of tags and attributes. Remember, HTML is a collection of tags and attributes. Okay, I will explain how the tags will be there, how the attributes will be there, and how to use these in the websites. Okay, so that is HTML. So remember, HTML is what? Hypertext markup language, and it has the tags and attributes. Okay, so and we will learn in the project class how many tags are there, and your every tag, it is a very useful. Okay, and every tag has a some functionality, some different functionality is there. So we have to add in the project. Okay, so we see then we see all the tags day by day. Okay, so to develop the front end pages, we use the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, and to develop a backend pages, we have to use what? PHP, JSP, ESP. So these are the programming language. So these we have to in this language, by using this language, you have to write the actual logic of a project, actual logic of a applications. Okay, so we have to use either of one of the language. That is, either you can use a PHP, either you can use a JSP or ESP. Okay, so PHP means that is a personal home page. JSP, Java server pages. ESP, that is the it is based on .NET framework. Okay, .NET platform we have to use what? ESP. Okay, and next we have the Python. Okay, so these language we use to develop the backend pages. Okay, so either one of the language you have to use to develop the web applications. Okay, and in your all project we have to develop by using what? PHP language. So this is a one PHP language. Why? Because why PHP? Because of this is a easy language. Okay, and it has a many functionality to support to develop the web applications. Okay, and one more thing, remember in the client server model we have the front end pages and back end pages, and one more, that is a database. Okay, you can use any database, Oracle database, MySQL database, Terra database. So many database will be there in the market, but here we are using MySQL database. This is a wait a second. Some students are joining, still they are joining. See, to develop a backend, we use this language, and to develop the front end, we use this language. Okay. So to develop a front end, this is a fixed. We have to develop a front end pages, that is a fixed only, that is HTML, CSS, JavaScript. No other language has to, no other language, there is no other language to use to develop a front end pages. Only how to use what? HTML language. Okay. And backend, there is a possibility is there. You can use any one of the language. Either you can use a PHP, JSP, ASP, or Python. If you want to concentrating on Java, so then that time you use a JSP, that is a Java server pages. If you want to concentrate on .NET framework, so that time you use what? ASP. Okay. If you are concentrating on Python, so then that time use the Python as a programming language to develop the front end, back end pages. Okay. And next year we use the database to store the data. So this is very important. You can use any database to store the data. So here we are using MySQL database because of it is a free of cost. There is a there is no any charges of to download to install this MySQL. This is a free of cost. That is open source software. Okay, so that's why we are using what? MySQL database. Okay. So next, and in MySQL also we have the easy queries, easy all the easy components in the MySQL. Okay. See, how the client server will work. I will give one example. See, here we have the Flipkart website. Can you see this website?
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Oh, I not said, sorry. Wait a second. See, to develop a web application, we use the client server model. Okay. In the front end, we have the what? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In the JavaScript, again, we have the Ajax and jQuery. Okay. And to develop a backend pages, we have we use the PHP, JSP, ASP, and Python. To develop a backend, we have to use either one of the language. Okay. So, and database is fixed, and you can use any database to store the data. So here we are using what? MySQL database. Okay. So see how the client server will work. So I will show one website here, Flipkart. Okay. So this is what we are seeing. See, this is the web pages. So this is in the form of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay. So this web page is developed in the form of what? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. So mainly HTML document only, but CSS. Why we are using CSS? Because of we are giving some designs, giving some colors. Okay. So that purpose we are using what? CSS. Okay. And JavaScript. So whenever some ads will coming, so suppose if you click somewhere, so we'll getting some things. Okay. So those will be okay. Wait a second. So those will be see, suppose if you mouse hover in particular this tab, so then that time you'll get some information. So that time they will use what? JavaScript. So here also we're getting the slides changes. Okay. So that time we are using what? JavaScript code. Okay. JavaScript or Ajax or jQuery. Okay. So we'll see when we start the chapter of that is JavaScript. So then that time you can see how it is used in your project. Okay. So in that also we have many chapters. Okay. So many concept will be there to cover in the JavaScript. Okay. So this is what we have the actual HTML. Okay. So this is what front end. So this front end pages will see by the users, see by the customers. Okay. See by the customers. Okay. And where it is backend, where it is user. See, suppose if you click the mobiles. Okay. Suppose if you click the mobiles, then you will get the mobiles. Sorry. See, here we have. See, here we have the main categories of products. Okay. Suppose if you click here in electronic, we have the Samsung. Okay, Samsung mobile. So if you click Samsung, so then that time Samsung, all these Samsung mobile present in the Flipkart that will be shown here. Okay, so whatever you are seeing, this is what front end pages. Okay, this is what front end pages. Okay, and when if you are clicking the Samsung button, so then that time you can see only Samsung mobiles. Okay, so that time that is the backend pages will be executing, but that backend pages will not seen by user. Okay, so actual logic will be written. So what logic here? So we have whenever user click the Samsung button, you will get this only Samsung mobile. So in the PHP code, they are written like so select star from some query will be there like select star from electronic category where electronics equal to what Samsung. So then that time that particular query will be executed in that query will be written in the PHP code and that data will be accessed from the database. Okay, so that is what backend pages we have. That is the we have to actual logic will written in the backend pages. Okay, and that will not seen in the to the user. Okay, so only we see the front end pages. Okay, so what actual logic, what how the actual process will be working, so those will be not seen by the user. Okay, so that will be written in where in the backend pages. Okay, and you can use any language out of PHP, Python, or ASP, JSP. Okay, see to develop a front end pages, we use what HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, so and remember all the web pages in the form of HTML only. In the inside HTML only, we have the CSS and we have the JavaScript. Okay, so inside HTML code only, we have to add what CSS and JavaScript code. But actual all the web pages in the form of HTML only. Remember, there is no different file. So if you want to access a web pages, so there is no different file. HTML is a different, CSS is a different, JavaScript. So all will be merged in the HTML only. And so the whenever if you are accessing web pages, so that time it will be viewed only in the form of HTML only. Okay. So there is a chance of separate CSS file, separate JavaScript file, but that files will be added in the where in HTML only. Okay. So that link will be given in the HTML only. Okay. So there is a possibility that CSS code and JavaScript code you can add directly into HTML code, or you can add a separate file as a .css.js, that is JavaScript. So and that pages will be added into where that link will be given in the where HTML pages, but actual web pages will be viewed in the form of HTML only. Okay, so this is the what we have the front end pages. If you want to develop any web application, it is a required these language, that is HTML. Okay, so and CSS and JavaScript. Okay, so next year to develop a web application, to develop a backend pages, we use what? PHP, Python, ASP, JSP. Either one of the language you can use to develop the backend pages. That is the server side pages. Okay, and that server side pages that will not shown to the user. Okay, so that will be given, that will be developer by developer. Okay, so according to the business requirement. Okay, so next year, so and in this in our in your project we are using backend language as a what? PHP. Okay, and backend database we are using what? MySQL database. Okay, so see how the website will be works. Okay, so see this is what client. So see think that is a this is a you as a U student, you are searching what? One website. So www.sjpnbcaiitsolution.com. So when you put this website, if you put this address in the web address, so whenever if you entering, so that time it will get the pages from the server, web server. Okay, in the web server we store the all the front end pages and back end pages and the database we have. Okay, so any doubt in the front end pages and back end pages, let me know now only, because up to completing your project development we have to use what? Front end and back end. Okay, very important concept, front end pages and back end pages. Please let me know if you have any doubt based on front end, back end, and MySQL and database. Any doubt? Any doubt? No doubt? Please reply. Can you understand what are the front end pages, what are the back end pages we have, and where it is actually used?